Hi guys, James West here. The first book in my new series, Magus Veritus, just drops today, and I thought to celebrate, I'd do a little Q&A video, discussing the book as well as my writing in general. Now, for anyone who hasn't heard Magus Veritus essentially follows Eli Joyce, a young teenage mage who isn't the best at controlling his magic gets enrolled in the prestigious Hawthorne Academy for Mages. And now he is excited about this. However, he slowly begins to grow concerned when the fairly tragic turn of events that led him into being enrolled might have more behind them than he originally thought. And the first book, as well as what I'm planning to do with the series moving forward, is him slowly uncovering the truth behind that and how those events might affect not just him but the people around him. Honestly, I'm really looking forward to sharing the book with you guys, and I'm gonna leave its link in the description to where you can find the book if you're wanting to check it out. But with all that said, let's get into some questions. I would say the biggest inspiration I had for Magus Veritus was actually the Taran Matharu's The Summoner Trilogy. Now, if you haven't read that series, I highly recommend it. And if for no other reason, it does a fantastic job applying RPG mechanics to a fantasy story. Something that a few animes I can think of really need to learn from. But anyway, it's like a big part of the world building for that series is that basically, if you're a mage in that story, you are going to go to the Mage Academy. So far, very similar story. But a key difference is that the academy in the Summer Trilogy is military run. It is essential, basically, whether you're a noble or peasant, after you graduate from the academy, you are going into the military in some shape or form. And that's actually and despite all the good world building there is in that series, and there is that's actually a question that I never got answered, or at least not to my satisfaction. And that, what do the mages do when they're done with the military? Or, but another way, what happens to the mages when there are no orcs to fight, when there's no real demand for them in the military? The books actually make it very clear that one of the big reasons why there's so much demand for mages is because they actually don't, because they are basically these mainline defense from the orcs. But if that need goes away, what happens to them? It's those questions that really inspired me to write the Magus Veritus series and start exploring. So I am looking forward to seeing on just how far that exploration goes, and of course sharing with you guys. Trying really hard not to do spoilers here, but I would say the character that I had the most fun writing would probably be Trevor Ellington. Then the reason it actually took me a couple of rewrites to get his character where I wanted him to be. But he's definitely a layered character, and he definitely has some inner conflicts that I'm really looking forward to start dealing with and exploring as the series progresses and his character development. I'm actually pretty excited about that part. Honestly, it'd probably be easier to say where I don't get them from, but I will say that one of the reasons I get my ideas from reading and watching other works. That's actually why I like reading books or watching anime. Even if whatever show or series I'm watching is maybe a bit of a dumpster fire, I always try to look for that one nugget of good writing, writing that stands out. Now, or if it's a series that's actually really good, like the I was on my head, like Summer Trilogy, or Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, it is a good. There's a smorgasbord of stuff to pick from there to help give me ideas for writing, and it's actually pretty fun. And personally, feel free to leave a comment if you agree or disagree with this. But when you start writing more, or you start to have a bit more of a, for lack of a better word, a critical eye about other, or it's like when you go to the movies or go watch TV. I found that since I started writing, a lot of stuff, more subtler details actually stand out to me a lot more than I did before, and it's just one of those interesting things. I'd say the things I like writing about the most are the things I like reading about the most, and for that there are two things that definitely fit that category. The first is a sense of mystery and intrigue. To me, this is one of those things that really sells me on a book, especially when it's well done, and that just helps keep my attention and actually really makes me want to just keep reading because I want to see what happened, or what's really going on behind the scenes. It really gets me invested in a book, and I really like writing that kind of stuff, because it kind of makes me feel like Puppet Master a little. But also, there's a certain enjoyment I get from just trying to craft a subtle yet intricate story. It's weird. It's really hard to describe, but but when I do it and it actually turns out well, that's the important part. It does give me this really just sincere sense of satisfaction, and that's always fun. Now the other thing I love reading as well as writing about is good character interaction, or good character development. And I say them together because, frankly, I think they're two sides of the same coin. No character is in a vacuum. In a story, no character is in a vacuum. Two characters might not be related to each other, or in any sort of direct sense, and they may never share a stage together, or that doesn't mean that they may be indirectly connected to each other by mutual acquaintances or other characters that they both have influence or are influenced by. And frankly, just good characters, in my opinion, are the meat of any good story. One of the reasons I love shows like FMA Brotherhood or Mob Psycho 100 is that the cast of characters bounce off each other really well. Really good. One example I actually brought up a few days ago with my dad, and it was about a show called Leverage. A few years old. Well, it's had its run, but it's still a really good show, and I really, really do recommend it if you haven't seen it. But even if an episode is a bit meh or pretty wacky, or a little too wacky, I never get tired of seeing the interactions between the main cast of characters. It's a really good example of the five-man band trope. And if nothing else, just seeing all the characters bounce off each other, it just brings a smile on my face every time. And so yeah, those are the things I really love writing as well as reading about. I'm not sure if I have one. If I could think about any authors that influenced me a lot today. Mostly because I've been writing for a few years now, and I have developed a bit more of my own style at this point. However, when I first started out, I was definitely influenced by three authors: Ridley Pearson, Owen Colfer, and Margaret Pearson Haddix. I absolutely loved their stories. They were so good. With Pearson, I loved his fantastic stories, especially a sort of a low fantasy. There's something like Kingdom Keepers, or especially with Kingdom Keepers or Peter and Starcatchers. I love those stories. It's been a few years since I've touched those stories, but I can still remember so many details from them. And this is true for all three of these authors. It's been a while since I've touched some of their works, but once I've read, I can still remember so much from them so easily. That's how much impact these guys had on me. Now, for Culfer's case, I absolutely loved his blend of sci-fi and fantasy, especially with Artemis Fowl and the Warp trilogy. But his stories also had this really good cat and mouse sense to them, where there's definitely a degree of a battle of the wits going on. This may be more true for the Artemis Fowl stuff, but I never got tired of that. It was so good. And also helped inspire me to make very intellectual characters. It also helped inspire me when I was making more intellectual characters or more intricate plots. Margaret Pearson Haddix, and I don't know if she ever won an award for her books, but if she hasn't, that's a crying shame for her. This is a writer who, if you aren't familiar with her work at all, she is someone who takes pretty mature and high concept stuff and translates it to something that is very digestible for a middle school reader. That was how old when I first started reading her stuff, and I do not regret it. But it's very digestible and makes sense even to a middle schooler. Now, a lot of her stuff tends to be in the dystopian genre. Luckily, I started reading her work before stuff like Divergent and Hunger Games came along and just bloated that genre to pieces. But I love her stuff. Was always fun to read because it was basically someone taking a story, taking an intelligent plot, and just making it into digestible pieces for a young reader. I loved it. And actually, if I recall some fan mail I got back in the day, I think one girl actually mentioned that she could see a lot of Haddix's influence in my writing when she saw a preview of my first book. But those three authors definitely inspired me, and without them, I probably would not have gone into writing. Right, I'm going to say that right now. Now that's actually it for the questions. I had 5, sorry. Alright, but I had a lot of fun doing this. If you guys have questions that I didn't get to, or you have some ideas for what I can do for the next video, or another video of this kind, just leave them in the comments below. Until next time, this is James West, signing off.